Ladies and gentlemen, we are back at it for another review for Attack on Titan Season 4, Part 2. This was episode 83, technically episode 24 of Season 4. What's going on, gentlemen?
What up?
Yep.
I don't know how this show keeps doing this to us, man. Like, how does the show continue to rev up and also, like, I never would have expected this is what the episode would have been about. I don't know. Am I the only one?
I almost classified this as a filler episode until someone got shot like 5 seconds in.
Right.
What's funny is it was a filler, but they find a way to like advance all the plots and again tighten the screw on the drum like throughout the whole episode. Like it was almost whiplash pace. They just jumped. Hey, okay, this happened. Boom. All right, jump to this joint. Okay, that's going on too. Boom. And you're reeling from the first reveal.
Right.
And they hit you with something else. And then before you know, somebody saving Armin out of the mouth of a Titan.
Right. It's just a lot that happened in this episode. So it's like, I appreciate this episode so much because normally you would have like Levi and Hanji's story. Then you would have like the Connie and Falco trying to figure out what Connie's going to do. And then you would have like conversations with Armin and Gabby. And then trying to figure out what John's going to do and what Mikasa's thinking about. And they said, no, we're going to progress this all the way through. So we're not wasting any more of your time. And I don't know, like the way that they wrote this episode, it was really well written. I do agree that there's definitely filling in the gaps until we see your boy Aaron get to Shoreline. But I don't know, man. It was a lot. What do y'all want to tackle first as far as the story?
Man,
because there's a lot to go over.
Let's tackle Connie and Falco. Let's tackle that. Let's just go right. Let's just get there. Let's just get there because my man was ready to just toss him in his mama's mouth.
and mom was ready to chomp down.
Right. With no hesitation, reckless abandon. He gave no F's. He was like, bring me my mama back. That's where we are right now. That's why I'm surprised that I'm not surprised it didn't happen. I knew it wasn't going to happen. Something was going to impede on all of that because I'm like, there's no way Falco is not going to be in this final battle against Aaron. He's got one of the 9 Titans. He's a key character to this point. So there's no way this dude is just going to be chomped up by Connie's mama. It just wasn't going to happen. But Armin to try to sacrifice himself and give the colossal Titan away, like that just pissed me off. I was just like, no. I know that's what he felt would make Connie not have him sacrifice himself and that way save Falco, which of course, as a strategist, that's what he would do. But I'm getting tired of this dude thinking so low of himself that he's just ready to sacrifice himself at any given moment. You know?
Yeah, I kind of agree because the thing about him versus Irvin was willing to sacrifice himself just in general. Like, it was like, we're going to move forward. If I happen to die, we're still going to move forward. It wasn't that, like, it was a chip on his shoulder that he had to live up to anybody else's expectations. Like, it was more so like, no, I'm just willing to die, lose a limb to do what we got to do. But I think that he didn't have a choice in the situation, honestly. Like, I don't know what he would have been able to do because looking at it from different angles, right? Say Connie accidentally cut Falco. Connie would have died straight up. Like, he would have turned into a Titan. He would have immediately died because Falco has no control over his situation. If Connie would have succeeded in getting it into his mom, and they would have cut all ties with what they're trying to do right now. Like, Gabby would have tried to kill Connie's mom immediately, and probably Connie, and turn on your boy Armin. Armin would have had to go on, and no matter what, there wasn't a best case scenario if something wouldn't have stopped it. I'm trying to think of a scenario where it would have worked out, and I can't. And I think that's the way that Armin thinks in his head. He's a tactician, so it's like he didn't have a choice, I guess. But
yeah, it would have been too many extra stories in there that would have occurred. But I'm actually kind of glad that they did kind of breeze through these. Like this was a filler, but it wasn't. It was like let's converge the whole squad and let's move this story along. And I'm actually glad they did that. This right here was like, you want me to help you clean this Titan's teeth?
Brush her teeth?
What is this? This is
bruh.
Dentists out here for these Titans, man.
He was like, how can I convince this nice child how to do
that? Trust me.
I'm like, what are you thinking, Connie? Like, what are you thinking, dude?
I was born in the day, but not yesterday. Come on.
Yeah, it was real desperation. It was real desperation at the end of the day. But it was kind of like what shook him out of it, because he even said, he was like, I thought you were gonna like kill my mom. I didn't think you would sit there and jump into her mouth. But I mean, I don't know. I think that's what makes this show so compelling, because for a second I thought he was about to do it. I don't know if y'all thought something was gonna, but the show is so unforgiving at times that I thought it might happen.
I definitely thought he was ready to risk it all, and not necessarily because he thought low of himself. Like again, he's a tactician, but he's one of those tacticians that like he realizes anybody could get it, himself included, to get the plan done, to get the methods that he needs done. So yeah, he was ready to risk himself. He bet with himself,
right?
And clearly won this time. But I mean, yeah, no, that's Armin.
Bro. So are we gonna? I want to talk about this rap cover so bad, but I gotta wait for it later.
You talking about AOT Avengers shot?
Well, everybody was like, "Hey, let's go, squad."
Yo, this looked like the Avengers right after they took down Loki in the first movie, man. And he was like, I'll have that drink now. Reiner looking at them cats like Loki, and is like, oh, it's a wrap.
Like, first off, I didn't know you were still alive. But yeah, I guess we can talk about Mikasa having her moment. Because I was kind of like, what's Mikasa really gonna do? She kind of woke up from her little nap or whatever. Kind of stood by and like listened to the whole John spiel and just kind of walked past. And then she went to go to the chick that had her scarf. This chick was like, yeah, I'm dying, but I felt like it was really important to you to keep this scarf, yada, yada, yada. I had a conversation with your boy, Aaron. Aaron wanted to throw your scarf away.
Right.
And she was like, give my scarf. And
she was like, give it back.
I was like,
she went Devo on her, yeah?
Right.
She straight
I got your scarf. No, I got my scarf.
I mean, what do y'all take from that though? Like, is it that she didn't have time to sit there and have this conversation with this chick? Or was it like she was hurt by the thing and she was like, yeah, I'm about to avoid this and just keep it moving?
I think Mikasa's still struggling with the stuff that Aaron said to her. Like, I think that's particularly what it is. She hasn't been able to yet determine if it's, am I really for this dude because I love him, or am I for this dude because my blood forces me to do that? So it's one of those things where it's like, I think she's still having trouble with that, but she still knows she has a mission. It's like she still doesn't know how she feels, or she still doesn't have an answer to her question yet. She's still drawn to this guy. So she's still moving forward to Aaron, but she hasn't gotten her answers yet. And Mikasa is kind of what we're seeing with Mikasa. Mika is starting to show those Levi tendencies. Like when she was just like, give me the scarf back. Like,
right.
Like that's some stuff that Levi would do. That's an Ackerman thing. Like, I ain't got time for all your sentimental BS. Like, give me the scarf back. And the thing is, the thing is that got me is The girl is still talking, giving this chick praise. Like, I've done everything I've done, basically to mimic you, like following in your footsteps. And don't say a word. She's still walking out, like, like we not here. Like, it's like, I got my scarf. You can keep talking to your last breath. Like, it was like, well, there ain't nothing I can do for you now. You got torpedo shrapnel in you that ain't coming out. You're basically dying. Thanks for the analysis. Give my scarf. I'm out. That's basically all it was.
It's true. Like, she just didn't. It was like emotionless. But the thing is, even like, you know, Levi's done some gangster stuff, but generally he kind of is like, y'all will be missed or whatever. And he just keep it moving. Mikasa just was walking away mid-sentence.
Cold.
And I think the only way I can think about it is like she knew that there was a plan that was happening, but she wanted to get her scarf and get the plan moving.
Yeah, she didn't care about the rest.
Right. Now look.
Wanted the scarf.
You see how she looked right here?
Yeah.
Her hair normally does kind of like drop kind of past her eyes a little bit, but it's something about it being disheveled and in her eyes and her eyes being slanted.
Yeah.
That's like two big tropes at the same time. And it looks like the animators of this show actually do follow these tropes. Number one, people with slanted eyes, not chinky eyes, just like drawn slanted like that, kind of have a particular view of the world. So, or in that moment, they have a particular kind of view of the world that might be considered on the evil side, on the villainous side. And I don't know if y'all ever read the book Lord of the Flies. As the kids were on the island, their hair grew long, started to get in their eyes. They started to get wild. They started to have real base human tendencies, like some of the rawest and maybe wrongest of them. When people in this anime start having hair in their face, disheveled, Aaron had it, she had it, Gabby had it at a point, they start doing some interesting stuff.
They start to get gangster.
Real gangster. Real gangster, son. So keep an eye on that. Yeah, that was the one time I saw it and Mikasa and noticed. I was like, "Ooh, whoa."
Yeah, and I think you're right. I think we really haven't really seen Mikasa just this season yet, just go completely ham. And it's just gonna be really interesting because now that everybody is together, and I mean the episode started with another Ackerman that I guess we got to talk about. And that's your boy. He's not only still alive, but he knows what's up. Hanji's been keeping him alive. He's scarred up pretty bad, lost a couple fingers. But the first thing, and I give credit to Ty. I can't remember what Ty said last week. Ty was like, man, as soon as that man wakes up, if he's alive, he's going for Zeke. And sure enough, he's like, where's that ninja? Right. Where you at?
That dude wanted Zeke, like Thor said, bring me Thanos. Like, that dude wants Zeke. He is on Zeke. Yo, Zeke is on his list, and that's not the place you want to be.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all, bro. Your days are numbered.
I'm like,
what they say, dead man walking?
Dude.
He literally just heard, him and Hanji literally just heard Aaron in their head. And my man got up off the pillow like, yo, let's go.
Dude, I'm just real curious because this is the thing. When it comes to Levi, we know that Levi is a whole pound. Like, Levi is easily one of the most deadliest characters in this whole entire show. But if he happens to find where Zeke's body is connected to Aaron or connected to the Founding Titan, because we got to talk about somebody in the window later on and what that means. But say he does kill Levi or kill Zeke. What happens to all the rumbling? Is that mean that the Titans that he sent to destroy everything, the moment that Zeke dies, does that mean he just doesn't have control of them anymore? Do they stop, or they still keep in the same motion? Right. Just without any control.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of like, I don't know if killing Zeke is going to be the end all be all to this. Like, I think like this is all set in motion. And I don't think that Zeke can do it without Aaron, and Aaron can't do without Zeke. But if Zeke dies, I don't know. I'm just curious y'all perspective on it because.
Well, my biggest issue, honestly, if there was any issue I had with Attack on Titan when it comes to anything regarding the plot, storyline, or key items or anything, it's this right here. It's you can't really tell if it's permanent or if it's just for the plot. Like when Aaron punched his dad's first wife in the palm, which started the whatever you call it, the coordinate or whatever. That was a moment. Then there was the moment where he held Historia's hands and then he was able to go back and forth. He could see back and forth in time or whatever for that moment. So now we're saying that now that he has Zeke, he has to basically hold on to Zeke in order to do the Founding Titan. There's really no guarantee of any of that. The use of the Founding Titan has always been around the plot, because my thing is if he punched, the Founding Titan and was able to do the coordinate, why didn't he just take a piece of his dad's first wife and just hold on to that and use that? It's the same way like he knows how to bite his hand. It's the same thing as Annie with that little thing that she can cut herself with. Like if he has a piece of, because there's nothing saying that he has to have complete contact with a full body person of royalty. I mean, who's to say he couldn't just cut a finger off of Zeke and maintain it? Like that's the problem. That's probably the only problem I have with this plot. Like we don't know if Zeke needs to be alive. We don't know if any person of royalty has to be alive or just he has to have a piece of them in order to do it. Because they just say he has to come into contact with someone of royal blood. There isn't anything saying that he has to stay in contact with them once he transforms. There's nothing saying that. And who's to say that since he has the Attack Titan, who's to say that once that happens, he doesn't need anything to maintain it? Who's to say he hasn't already swallowed Zeke? Because when he ate whoever was the Warhammer Titan, he got that power. He already had the Attack Titan and the Founding Titan by consuming his father. So who's to say that he hasn't consumed Zeke already and he can do it now and control it at a whim? We don't know. And that's the biggest issue. That's the only real issue I've ever had with Attack on Titan. This whole Founding Titan piece is always plot directed. So I can't.
So I wonder if, and I agree with you that they've always kept that a complete mystery, just like they've kept Ymir's backstory a secret. Like they kept for 3 seasons, like what was the point of the cellar, secret. And I feel like it's intentional. I feel like the whole understanding of what the Founding Titan can do and will do is going to be something they're going to use for the narrative later on. It's like, we don't want you to know until it's too late. Like kind of thing.
Right.
I feel like that has always been their MO with whatever it is. Because I remember even with the cellar situation, I was kind of like, man, what's the whole point of the cellar? Then we got to the cellar and we see this picture, and I'm like, wait, why do these Jokers look like they're in a completely different era? Like, what is going on here? And then you're like, oh wait, the Marlians, like they actually are on another side. Like, it didn't even matter anymore. You know what I'm saying? I think that's why when the time comes when we do find out about it, it's going to be a situation of life and death that was like, okay, you just didn't know because we wanted you to be to this point. I don't know, but it's always been their MO for Attack on Titan. So it is kind of frustrating, but I just don't know. I really don't. And I'm real curious because I feel like it's a real intentional thing that they would say. They would even have Levi, it's like Levi knows that he's got to kill Zeke. But it could have been like, like Zeke is already dead. Then where does Levi's character go from here? Okay, it's immediately to stop Aaron. But the fact that they left in the plot storyline that Zeke still is on Levi's list, there's got to be intention to that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think they would just leave that thread just for it to be empty promises. But I don't know. It's just kind of like this whole thing where now with John coming up with the plan and now everybody's together, what are they really planning on doing? Honestly, like what can they really do to stop this situation, squad or not? What are their real primary objectives at this point?
I mean, only thing I can think, like I said, they know that Zeke somehow is kind of the key linchpin, almost the fuel or the battery that allows Aaron to do what he's doing. So if they can remove or separate them two, like that will. And again, I don't know if it's an immediate thing or if it's an overtime power fades. Basically, stop the rumbling that way. Hopefully, stop the rumbling because I mean, you brought up a really good point of, we're in IT. You know what I'm saying? When you tell a computer to do something, it's gonna do it until you tell it to stop.
Right.
If you separate them two and no one tells the Titans to stop, they just keep going. In fact, here's another crazy thing: the world, contrary to some flat earthers, is a globe. If you tell them to go conquer the world, and you don't tell them to stop, they're gonna come back around. So Paradise Island might be last on the list.
The list, yeah.
So it might be a for real extinction level event.
Right.
Did they ever go into detail in terms of those colossal titans in the walls though? I don't think we ever really got a full-on thing about that.
Elaborate, like as far as how they were created or what?
Yeah, just the whole story of how they came to. Because the thing is, we've only known one colossal titan. Then it wasn't until, of course, I think end of first season or in the second season, we find out there are a bunch of colossal titans that are making up the walls that are named after Amir's kids. So I don't know. I don't remember them going into any particular story about that. It would have been nice to have a bit of understanding as to how that came about, how the Eldian king, the one that brought that about. We never got that, but I agree with you. Chidi. This is really something. What's about to happen is it's a clash of the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few versus the needs of the few outweighing the needs of the many. That's what this is. And it really does bring you to the point of like the guy that said, look, I helped you all. I betrayed Marley, help you all to help my home country. And what did I get for it? He's about to go and destroy everybody in my home country anyway, who had nothing to do with the torment and everything of Eldian. So it really does bring you to that point of, this is again, like we said last week, this is Aaron, the grown terrorist, responding as Aaron, the child from like the first season. He went from he literally has just changed his narrative to I'm not going to stop until all the Titans are gone to I'm not going to stop until everyone else is gone. It's a child reaction. It's a stupid reaction. And somehow he feels justified in it. But, if he's trying to make the world a better place for his Eldian, brothers and sisters in their future, this isn't really the way to go about it.
Yeah,
you don't just wipe out everybody.
It's just so hard because we don't know if we can trust him at his word. Like he's doing all the things. Everything that he's doing, it lines up with what he's saying, even down to the Mikasa and Armin conversation. But we can't trust what he's actually saying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's where the mystery part of it in me, like people, like I love a good mystery. I love being misdirected. it's annoying and it's frustrating at times, but it makes for really great, entertainment. And I think that's
pretty dope payoffs.
Right. You're kind of like, oh no, there's a shakeup here. Like just like this episode ended up itself. I thought that this was gonna be a long drawn out. Like we're gonna get 2 episodes to get all the plot threads together. Like no, you're like, nah, homie, we're going. Like we're all together now. But what does this mean? So I wanted to bring up this real quick because I think it was like second season when Hanji was going over it, but then they gave us more of a good Claire thing with the Ymir episode. With the Ymir episode, this is the way I internalized it. Was that Ymir, she had full possession. She was the founding Titan. It was just her. You know what I'm saying? There's nobody else. So meaning that she could create Titans on her own. Like she could make Titans from whatever she wanted to and mold them to her own will. And those Titans, they were able to harden themselves in such a way that it created the full wall. Hanji realized that it was the same exact material when I think the priest like kind of talked about the fact that don't let sunlight hit the walls because then they might come out. You know what I'm saying? But from my understanding, it was kind of like she grafted it and she still kept working it through the years, which that was the weird part for me. Does that mean that her children or children's children each time were adding onto the wall? That to me makes more plausible sense because then you're like, all right, this section of the wall was here, but then you got to finish the next part. But it looked like she had got all of it done within her lifetime to me. I can't remember though. I have to go back and remember that, but
I don't know if that was done in her lifetime though, because we saw that she died long before they came to Paradise. Ymir died, and her husband, the king of Eldians at the time, forced those girls to eat their mother. Like that was already done long before they decided to go to Paradise. So Ymir may have been forming that stuff in the pathways, but was probably under the command of her royal children, whomever that royal child may be.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot more sense. Even with this picture right here, is that through her bloodline, through her children, they were continuously making the walls around the people, which is crazy.
Right.
It's crazy to even think about that. But yeah, man, daggone, this girl is working for her whole existence. But yeah, so one last thing we got to talk about is who was in the window looking at them escaping. Ant came up with a really good idea, but I'm just curious, Ty, your thought, and then I have my own suspicions as well. But go ahead, Ant. What were you talking about the?
Oh no, just straight up and down. My thought was that it was Eren, for the simple fact that he seems to have a hold on history, the past and the future.
Yeah.
So there's a very good, like, I could see that he would know that was going to happen and probably already accounted for it. And he was just looking out the window to confirm, okay, that's happening according to plan. Cool. So my contingency is already going to deal with that or deal with them or whatever. So yeah, I think that was Eren, definitely.
Ty, what you think? Any other thoughts? Who it could have been?
It would make sense if it was Eren. I can't really think of anybody else that it could possibly be. But the thing about that gets me is I know the team is getting together, and because we've seen it, I feel they're getting together to stop Eren. And I believe that they're going to find some form of means to stop Eren, or at least make him change his mind or what have you. However, the question then becomes, if they do that, was this Eren's plan all along? Because if that was the case, Eren could have been like, I can see past, present, future. Like, I'm the guy that forced my dad to do what he did in order for him to feed the founding and attack Titan to me.
Right.
You know, this is really a what comes first, the chicken or the egg situation. So the question now becomes is, if this is Aaron's plan, was this his plan all along? Or because Aaron could have easily stopped all of this at any point. Like Chitty said, he controls time. But I think this may have been Aaron's plan all along, and he may just have been looking out the window to make sure they're gone so the plan moves forward.
Right.
That is plausible.
Right. Yeah, I mean, everything you're saying, and as soon as I was sitting there counting the people, I was like, okay, it ain't Rainer. I was like, it's not Zeke. Like, who else would it be? Like, Pixis is dead. Like, there's nobody else that would make sense. And so I was like, it's got to be Aaron. But it was kind of like my head went two different directions. I was like, it could be Aaron using the founding Titan mixed with the Warhammer, where he can direct himself anywhere underground and be anywhere at any time. He doesn't necessarily have to be at the front lines. He could be anywhere at any time and still be tethered to the whole thing. But I was like, it would make more sense to attack Titan, you know, him, like a version of him that's seeing what's going on and just overseeing it. It's just interesting that I forget who saw him. Was it Annie that saw him? Somebody looked back and saw that they were being watched.
I think it was Annie.
But yeah, I just don't know. And I've always suspected whatever Aaron's doing, he's been completely misdirecting us as the audience, just like he is his own family and friends. It's just like, what means though? I really don't know. And the other thing is, where's Hysteria in this?
Right.
Where's she? Like, is she still on the farm or whatever?
That's a valid question.
With her baby that nobody cares about? Like,
absolutely. For a split second, actually, when they cut to that hospital scene and you see this little blonde chick in the bed, I thought it was her. And I was like, oh, wait, no, that's not her.
Right.
But yeah, no, that's still hanging.
Like,
yeah, I think they're going to bring her back near the end.
It's just weird, though, because she's the queen, right? Technically.
Right.
And
even if she wasn't, like, you can't deny her part in this thing. And again, kind of like the whole founding thing, how long does he have to be in contact with royal blood situation? It's just like, yeah, they're holding that reveal so it knocks us out of our seat. So whenever we see Historia next, it's going to be a Attack on Titan universe changing situation.
Yeah, like I wouldn't be surprised if the next time he sees her or we see her, she's already had the kid, and the show is over. Like, I think she's already had the kid. Aaron basically gets what he really wants. And the show is over. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Aaron is like holding the kid and then, you know, show's over. I wouldn't be surprised. Right? That's the only thing for me. I think she is going to be what's her name from Lord of the Rings? Rose. When my man Samwise gets back, opens the door, picks up his kid, she's out there, gives him, you know, a little hug and a kiss, welcome back. He's like, I'm home. They shut the tree door. It's over. It's a wrap. I think that's probably going to be the somewhat like this. Aaron's going to show up. Historia's got the kid. He's probably going to pick up the kid. They're going to walk off. Show's done. I think that's when Historia comes back. I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't know how many episodes we got left, but that's one of the plot threads they're gonna have to shove out some space to explain why and where's her. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out, because they did this for everything else. Like, they went and like, okay, this is all the things beforehand, you know, before we get to the actual reckoning of everybody across the globe. But they left her out. And I'm like, yeah, we could wait to the very end, but it just, I don't know, it's weird to me. That's the one thing I can say.
I don't think it's that weird. Like I think her becoming queen, the rightful queen, was all part of that plot. It was all part of her storyline. The pregnancy part is a new storyline, and the thing is, the pregnancy really doesn't have any bearing on the rest of the story. She just happens to be pregnant.
Does it though?
Hold on. I'm talking about in terms of what we're dealing with right now with the rumbling. I don't think. Here's the thing: if they were to move away and go show you Historia pregnant somewhere in where the hills are alive with the sound of music, are we really going to care? No, we want to know what's going on with Eren. I'm not saying it's not vital. I would actually say that it is probably one of the motivations for Eren to have a world that's different for Historia's kid and everything else. But if we break away to go see her somewhere in the plains, where the hills are alive, and Edelweiss and all that crap, and she's sitting there thinking about what may be going on with Eren or finding out about the rumbling, what is she going to do? She's pregnant. She can't do anything. It's not going to serve the plot. I think her piece comes in at the end after the craziness has gone on. So I don't really think her pregnancy right now bears anything in terms of going to find out what's going on with her. I think it's going to matter after. Sure, it's critical to where the plot has now gone, but I don't think I don't think it's going to bear on what's going on right now with Eren being the founding titan and wrecking stuff. And Kenya is a fool.
yes, he is, and we're here for it, Kenya. We're here for it 110%. Look, I got two possibilities as far as Historia's storyline. Either one, very similar to what Ty was saying. It's almost like maybe they have at the very end like a prologue episode, and somehow everything gets tied up in a bow neatly, and they get to live their life or together with the child. Boom, boom, boom. The other reason why maybe possibly I think Historia might be relevant to what is going on now, to even the effort to sway, change the mind, or stop Eren, is if that is Eren's child.
Right.
At that point, yes. They can bring her and the child into his presence. They could try to plead against that, to be like, look, the rumbling is not helping their situation or whatever. But that's one place where she might come into play before the denouement, so to speak.
Listen, right. All I'll say is if that is Eren's child, I'm gonna be pissed.
Wait, why?
Why?
Because they've been serving us all this Eren and Mikasa, man.
So what it is, the tie is shipping
together, man. They're serving it to us now. And look, and I'm pointing at the back to my wall because I'm talking about the show. But back here in the show, Mikasa is still dealing with this whole thing between her mind and her heart when it comes to Eren. All of that stuff she's doing only to find out this dude is over here smashing Historia, shooting the club up, and they got a kid. Come on, man. I'm not for that.
I gotta put this up.
I mean, come on, like, and where in the world did that bond really come from between Eren and Historia like that for him to get to shoot the club up? We understand that there's a bond between them from what they've gone through with the regimen, but I don't remember seeing anything about a budding relationship of anything outside of what he did and when she became queen and all that. Where did that turn to? Hey, I'm queen. Thanks, Aaron. Come in the back room and shoot the club up. Like that don't make no sense. That don't make no sense.
That could be just a filler episode, dog. Just to catch you up
we've
on all that.
We've been getting all these, Aaron, Mikasa, will they, won't they join the dance kind of stuff. And then over here on the side, he's like, oh, I'm going to just smash this queen right quick. Like, that don't make no sense to me.
Now, look, let me tell you when Aaron and Mikasa became...
And that's the most they've had to deal with. The most right there. He got to see the past, present, and future. That might be it. But other than that, I don't know how from that point he would just convince her and say, oh, yeah, all right, I'm going to go shoot the club up and we going to go deal with the rest of this. Like, that don't make any sense to me.
Now, look, let me tell you, as soon as both Aaron and Layla Mikasa, because I forget who figured it out first, found out that, like, she was an Ackerman and she had a literal blood tie to protect him. Like, that kind of makes it hard to do a relationship because you don't know if it's free will or your blood tie saying, I gotta be with you, I gotta protect you. Being with you is the easiest way to protect you. So boom. Like, at that point they would start doubting themselves.
I'ma just say this. If my man Aaron is over here smashing Historian and shooting the club up, Armin and Mikasa need to be in the back doing the filthy McNasty because they've been bonding this whole way through.
Whole time.
I'm like, at what point they're gonna be like, you know what? F this terrorist. We about to go in the back and do the filthy McNasty, and Armin gonna get to shoot the club up. That don't make no sense. None of this makes any sense right now. They served up all this Aaron and Mikasa right here. And then they show you when Aaron goes off the rails, you see all this Armin and Mikasa right now. At what point do they show you they give you all this Aaron and Historia like, yo, is they gonna do it? Like, at no point in this series, I was sitting here like, yo, Aaron and Historia should smash. Like, he should get to shoot the club up and do his, like, I never got that vibe. I've gotten this vibe right here that Sam got up here right now. It's always been about the scarf. The scarf,
right? The symbol.
Scarf is the thing that binds them. Like, that is the thing. Even in the at the end of the at the end credits, it's always showing the scarf. I can't see how the scarf is so vital that they put it in the end credits and showing this thing between Aaron and Mikasa, but Aaron over here smashing Historia shooting the club up. It don't make sense to me, man. It doesn't make sense to me at all. Make it make sense, man. Come on.
Look, I forget who said it. Somebody, I don't know if somebody in the chat said it. Somebody was like, he could have 2 wives, something crazy like that. I was like, come on, bro.
And hey, listen.
Can't
and
do
if
that.
that's the case, if that's the case, to me, listen, if it ends up that Aaron actually got both of these chicks back here and he's shooting the club, like, I would accept that versus it's just him and Historia, and Mikasa's out here left in the cold with her bob haircut, about to go savage with it going over her eyes and stuff while she holding on to the scarf for the dude that she ain't really sure if she loved this dude. Like, she knows she loved this dude, but is she loving this dude because her blood's telling her, or if she actually loves these dude because she got feelings for this dude? Like, that's the thing I don't get. Like, all we have seen is Mikasa stand by this dude's side for 3.5, almost 4.5 seasons. And you mean to tell me she don't get the prize at the end? Like, he's just like, you know what? Thanks for saving me all them times I was a punk. Thanks for coming to help me out when I was out here doing my terrorist stuff. I'm about to be back here because I already done shot up Historia's club, and I'm about to be a dad real quick. So appreciate y'all bringing from the back to the front and let it bounce. I don't see that happening. It don't make no sense to me right now.
So, okay, look, I'm gonna try to do it like this, right? So the moment that your boy Aaron, right? Let me pull up the moment real quick. The moment that he did this, and he's seen everything, everything what he had to do, everything that he knew he didn't want to do, he had to do, the sacrifices, the deaths. What if one of those sacrifices is he has to have this relationship with Historia? What if it is that he sees his child? You know what I'm saying? Irregardless of what he feels about Mikasa, or whether or not he's reconciled, like how he really feels emotionally about her, at that moment, just like everything he's got to do, right? He may be willing to sacrifice that, like a real relationship with Mikasa, because at the end of the day, this is the road that he has to go down. So, but I mean, I feel like that may... We don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if it is. We're talking about hypotheticals here. We don't know that this is
super hypothetical.
Historia and Aaron's baby, right? But say hypothetically speaking, it is. He's gonna do everything he can to make sure preservation of life. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's gonna do what he can to not only protect his family and his friends, but also protect his future, like his own legacy. So it's like, I don't know. I don't know what you wouldn't be willing to give up for your child. You know what I'm saying? Like anything. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I feel like that would be the compromise to me, to accept it.
But it really only begs the question then is he doing it because he's seen the future and feels he has to? Because he still has a choice. And my thing is, how key is the choice? Because the thing is, whether he shot up Historia's club or not, he could easily have still started the rumbling. Like, what? That's the thing. So it's one of those things where it's like, yo, okay, he's seen the past, present, and future, right? Now he clearly understands that in order for certain things to happen, he had to convince his dad and da. But we don't see anything in here that gives any indication that he has to have a baby with Historia. Like, if he doesn't have the baby with Historia, how different is that on the plot? Like, if it was Mikasa, would he be doing the same thing? Like, it don't make any sense to me. Like, Historia shooting up Historia's club, where is that on the plot? Where does that bear on him doing? And then when did this happen? When did we get any indication that this happened? And as far as we know, which I think is still BS, which is why I think it's BS, some farmer that she fell in love with got to shoot the club up. It's Historia. No, it don't make any sense to me. I think it's BS, but I still don't get the farmer thing is BS. The Aaron thing is plausible, but it doesn't seem to be, as to why this happened. And then if Historia is so busy being queen, when did she find time for somebody to give anybody the chance to shoot the club up? That's what I don't get. Her pregnancy just came out of nowhere for everybody. And
she was off in the countryside. I believe this thing happened right after Aaron did some like crazy heroic stuff, so he had quote unquote time off. It don't take much for them to do this.
My man kissed her hand, got the keys to the Back to the Future timeline, and said, "Yo, I'm going across the sea," and went undercover and came back as Jaeger terrorist man. Like, I don't get it.
So this is the thing, and this is the thing about his powers. He can go into the past or the future and actually physically touch people. That's all I'm gonna say.
So you mean to tell,
what I'm saying is that
my man pulled a whole Avengers Endgame, went back in time like to get some Infinity Stones and shot the club up. Like is that what you're saying? You're telling me that he went full quantum leap. Scott Bakula went back in time, went straight Marty McFly and shot the club up. Is that really what we're saying, right?
Possibly.
You know what? It's plausible.
For the simple fact that he did it with his dad already is crazy. And let's not forget the fact that the chick's name is Historia. Historia of all daggone names. That's almost like he was giving himself a note to be like, I need to touch her because that's my history right there.
Come on, man. That's a reach.
Look.
Don't get me wrong.
The tinfoil hat is on
right.
that one. But the tinfoil hat is on that one. But I would be
might
surprised,
be right.
bro.
But this is why
after finding out about his dad, all bets
stand...
are off, my G. All bets are off.
Yeah, but all bets are off. I get it. But you might be right. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're dead wrong. I just find it interesting that my man said, you know what? I'm gonna go back in time and be like, yo, Dad, kill them up. Like, I need this stuff. Cool. Then he gonna go back. Then he gonna go back or go forward or wherever.
Right, wherever.
He's like, yo, Historia. Come on, girl. You know what it is. Like, yo, let me shoot that club up real quick. Like. And then go back to be like, I'm just gonna decimate the whole world. Like, what person wants their child to look at them as a global extinction level event that killed multiple people? Like, even with the understanding that you're doing this for the betterment of your people, who can look at their parent in the face and say, I don't care, and say, okay, thanks for killing the whole entire world except this one little island of people in order to do that? That doesn't make any sense whatsoever to me.
It's a hard.
Like, you see this dude right here. I don't think this dude right here could look at me and be like, yo, Dad, thanks for killing the whole planet in order for me to live in a world where that don't make no sense. I can't see it happening, yo. This dude right here, it don't make no sense.
So I don't know how to even put it.
Right.
This is the thing. This is a race of people that have been
persecuted,
enslaved, brainwashed, used to kill each other, used as like mutants to decimate, like used as actual living weapons. I can only imagine, somebody within the whole being like, whatever it takes, we can't do this no more. Whatever it takes. And unfortunately, it seems like that's Aaron. Like, I just don't know what the end resolve is going to be. But I bring that up to say that this is an impossible situation that's literally never stopped for what, thousands of years? How many years was it? 2,000 years? Like 2,000 years of enslavement and abuse, and still, like, now it's like brainwashing. Like, I don't know. Like, at some point, somebody's going to want it to stop by any means necessary. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I get what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, Ty, but somebody would end up saying, like, this has got to end. Like, it's ending.
You mean to tell me my man is trying to stop the oppression of his people, but while he's on the path to do that, he's gonna take a moment to go shoot up Historia's club? Like, that don't, bro. That don't make. I mean, stranger things have happened. I'm not saying that that's not the case, but I have to really go back to this and really reemphasize this. We have been given so much Aaron and Mikasa right now. Like, we have been on this plane of when they were kids, like, yo, Aaron, why don't you realize this girl has feelings for you? Don't be dumb. Like, out of the squad of 3, the 2 of y'all need to get together. Like, what's going on? We've been served up with so much of that. It's almost like you're spoiling the broth to just throw Historia in there. Like, Blonde Spice coming through, shoot the club up. Like, that doesn't work in the recipe for me, bro. Like,
so, Ty, can I ask you this question? Yeah. Is it really, at the core of all of it, do you really just want Aaron and Mikasa to be together?
At the core of all of it, I want, when this whole thing is over, for it all to make sense. Aaron and Historia. Now, if they have a way to truly explain Aaron and Historia, I will gladly accept it. I'll still be pissed because I'm like, but that's usually how I am with Attack on Titan, which is why it's so good, because they give you all this stuff and then they turn around and hit you with they mollywop you with something out of left field. Like, Nobody saw Sasha getting shot. That was out of left field.
Nope.
So they kind of set you up because they gave you all this Sasha, and then out of the blue, you know, Sasha's mini-me comes with a gun and shoots her straight through the chest. What the F? And then they bring her back, say, we're not going to do it once. We're going to do it twice. We're going to have her lock this dude's head off with a shot. Like, Gabby's sniper level is on 1,000. Like, but if they explain it, if it has a decent explanation, okay, but I'm still going to have problems with it because you served up for 3 seasons this Aaron and Mikasa thing. You served it up where Mikasa got all these feelings. She holds on to the scarf. He saved her life, all that stuff. Like, it's like they're almost bound to be together, and the only thing that's stopping them is Aaron is too stupid to realize what he has. Now we're dealing in a season where Aaron is not only not stupid, he pretty much knows it and uses it as a tool to make her question herself. Right. But he also used the tools he had to make Armin question himself. You know? So the truth of the matter is he's doing that to separate himself from them, because I don't think he's going to be comfortable doing what he does if he's got, you know, his angels on his shoulder talking to him, which is Mikasa and Armin. And because he's seen that timeline, he knows he has to do it. So he's strategically put things in place to separate himself from them. That makes sense. Find me the explanation in his timeline of what he's trying to do that says, I'm going to go shoot the club up with Historia real quick. Me and Historia going to get the handsy going on. We're going to do the 2-step, you know, we're going to do the horizontal mambo. Where is that in here? That's
so when we started going back through the seasons or whatever, like for our Thursday nights, and I started looking at, I guess, their relationship or whatever, or friendship. Like, once the other Ymir died, and like they ended up saving her, like from, you know, her about to devour Aaron and her sacrificing, doing that because she believed in him. They kind of started down this small little friendship. And like the intimate moments, of the actual real moments, most of the time was in closed doors. But it wasn't enough to justify like an actual active relationship. But there are seeds that are there to imply like, okay, he does care. It just is weird. The whole thing is really weird. I'll agree that it's all really weird.
You're absolutely right. There's enough there for him that he cares, but there's caring. There's an actual substantial relationship, and then they're shooting the club. That's the problem. Where do we go from I care to a relationship which doesn't even seem to be plausible, because it seemed more like she was going to end up being with Ymir? Like, that's what I was looking for with his story. It was going to be a tale of 2 queens.
No, that's real. That's real.
That's what I thought was going to happen.
Absolutely.
I was looking for them to be together.
Ooh, I had a really bad thought.
Oh Lord, what is it?
Oh no.
So for Aaron to actually move back and forth in time, right? With the Attack Titan, doesn't he have to be in contact with somebody of royal blood?
No.
Are you sure?
No, because he already did that with Historia.
No. That's what I'm trying. Hear me when I'm getting to this. So when he kissed Historia's mouth or her hand or whatever, he saw everything. He saw everything, right? But he needed Zeke, right, initially, to actually physically go to the past to where his dad was. He needed Zeke to do that. What I'm getting at here is it not plausible that he's been in physical contact with Historia and did the same exact thing? And that would mean that each time he's in physical contact with her, he's seeing all these, and she's also sharing all these memories with him.
she'd have to be fully aware of it. But yeah, okay.
All I'm saying is that
but he doesn't need to shoot the club up to do that.
But no, so this is what I'm saying. Imagine it like this, right? I'm not saying Stockholm syndrome, but you now have been imparted with the understanding that you are gonna decimate lives all across the globe. And the only other person that knows this is the person you're in contact with. Just on association, you're going to mesh like this because this person is going to turn you away or they're going to try to comfort you through the whole situation. He didn't tell Armin. He didn't tell Mikasa. He didn't tell nobody else. But I'm just saying that in a scenario where he does touch her and she is seeing everything that's happening, there's going to be a bond there. And it's a worst case scenario. It sucks because every time they have any kind of physical contact, like he's seeing all this terrible stuff. But I'm just bringing up a scenario that I thought about. I could be wrong.
It's possible. Now that would be a plausible scenario for me to say, okay, then I can understand Eren and Historia's thing. I could get it. I could get it, but
you don't want it. He gets it, but he don't want it.
I don't want it. Because at what point? Here's the thing. At what point is he going off multiple times to go see her to do all? Because the truth of the matter is, he needed Zeke to do that. But if he already had Historia, he could have done that anyway, and not needed Zeke at all. That's the problem I have. He was there. Zeke was there with him when he convinced his dad to do what he did. Right. If he was already with Historia doing all of this, he didn't need Zeke. Mm-hmm. He didn't need Zeke at all to do it. He could have just done what he did. He could have just done what he did. And once he got a hold of Zeke, he could have just started this whole thing off. But he needed Zeke to put these things in place because he knew going through time, I guess, when Historia touched him, that there may have been a moment of hesitation with his father. Right? He had to have known that ahead of time to use Zeke to go back in time to push his dad over the edge, right? Yeah. And remember, his dad has already seen it all, so he knows Eren is in control. He knows Eren's going to get what he wants. But the thing is, his father could have seen Eren do that with Historia.
He could have.
He could have. So if he was already doing all of this with Historia, even if he was back there, digging in them guts and shooting the club up, why does he need Zeke? He could have done all this with Zeke. That's
what I'm getting to. That if we know right now, literally he's either one consumed Zeke or he's attached to Zeke, he wouldn't want to do that to Historia. He wouldn't want to do that to her.
That part I got. But he doesn't need Zeke for all the things that he did.
The time travel now.
He could have just utilized, he could have tricked Zeke and gotten the Founding Titan and just be on. He didn't even have to trick him. He could have basically said, look, I'm down for your plan. Take my hand. Haha, got you, Rich. And now I'm about to go start the rumbling.
But he tried to do that, though.
At the end of the day, Zeke, Eren still has the Founding Titan. So,
But he tried. Remember, initially, though, he did try to do that because, like, Zeke was like, wait, what? You betrayed me? Oh, I knew you were going to betray me. And then he kind of locked him in shackles anyway. And even with that, Eren had to do a lot to break through to have no time. Like, I think my thing is about it is that he had to get Zeke to a point where he was emotionally compromised, no matter what. He had to take Zeke through those memories to get him emotionally compromised, to get him to a malleable point,
right? So that he can get to Ymir. Those bonds,
right. Yeah. So I think that he knew that. So it's like if he had did that with his story, it wouldn't have mattered because it still wouldn't have gotten him what he wanted, which is to get to Ymir.
Well, he could have still utilized the situations with their father to make him emotionally vulnerable to loosen those shackles. He could have, but that still doesn't, that still means that he could have done all the other things he needed to do. He could have still pushed his father over the edge, you know, and because he could have pushed his father over the edge with Historia and called it a day. Now
he could have, but then,
he could have. The other piece about that is, though, if he did that, then his father basically would have seen him coming and probably tried to stop him with Zeke there if it came to that point. But the fact of the matter is that when he did use Zeke to get all of that, his father basically already knew what Aaron was going to do. And he could have basically stopped him or told Zeke at any point. He waited until it was basically too late and told Zeke, you know, look, I loved you. I was such a bad father. I wish I would have been a better father to you. But here's the thing. Aaron is in control. He knows and does everything because of the attack titan. You can't stop him. He tells him that after Aaron is basically gone, they're back in the past. He's emotionally vulnerable and breaks free. And the only thing that Aaron does, Aaron is such a beast. Aaron goes to Ymir and says, aren't you? Aaron basically pulls the help on Ymir. Like he looked at her. He had her the way Viola Davis had Bryce Dallas Howard. Like, ain't you tired?
Right.
Ain't you just tired of making all these titans and doing all this stuff in the world? That's basically what happened. It was the AOT version of the help. But I still don't see where the baby comes in. Like, that's my thing. I don't see that part.
I don't know.
I'm gonna stop. This is my last time. I'm gonna stop with the whole shoot the club up. But the truth is, not the truth, but the seriousness of it is, I don't understand where the baby comes in. I understand the purpose of it being critical as to why he feels he must do it, but there isn't anything that tells me why he has to go have a sexual relationship with her and have this kid in the same situation. It don't make sense to me.
I don't got enough of that. I know you
I
would.
don't either. That's my point. I don't. And I think the end of the show will explain it all, but I just don't see it. Now, if they make me see it, if they get me to actually see it and understand it, AOT is going to be my #1 anime, hands down, period. It's going to top everything. I don't care what anybody says at me. It will be it. If they can't do that, though, it's probably going to still rank in my top 3 or what have you. It just won't be #1. But if they get that, oh yeah, it's definitely #1, hands down, all time done.
On that note, we're gonna go because we are hour and 30 minutes in. Hope you guys enjoyed this discussion.
Yes, indeed.
We'll be back same time next week. I think next week is the last episode until they have like a 2-week hiatus or something like that.
Like a 2-week.
They've not confirmed whether or not they're doing the movie before the finale or after. But either way, we'll be here and we'll see what happens about the baby.
Yo, Aaron, stop shooting the club up.
Falling on the top of
I can see the skyline, 50 mile radius on my timeline.